I'm Lauren Moss. I'm here with Hitendra Patel. We're at the 2023 CX Summit put on by BPRO, which is the BPO industry association here in Colombia that covers BPO and contact center industry. Today you talked about seizing the moment. Today you talked about, you're one of the invited speakers here. First, welcome. Is this your first time in Colombia?
I've been here many times.
Okay. Yeah. And Cartagena also?
Been to Cartagena, beautiful city, beautiful people, very, very gracious hosts.
Wonderful. So tell me, what was the main takeaway? What was the message that you delivered to the crowd? Obviously, we're talking to those that weren't necessarily here, but maybe if in a nutshell, you can give me the idea of the main takeaway that you wanted, the bullet point that you wanted people to take away today.
So it's very simple. Each one of you out there, whatever you're doing today, you have to start asking the question, what else? What's next? And if you do that, then you'll come up with ideas about what you need to do to be able to adapt to the changing future. And if you figure out what else and what next, then you have got to seize the moment. Carpe diem.
You know, that's fascinating because it reminds me, I have a little sticker that I made is sitting on my monitor, and it says, what do you want to accomplish today? And what are you doing right this second? Is that feeding into, I'm paraphrasing, to accomplish that? You know, there's so many distractions. We can get distracted by social media, things like that. And I always look up when I'm working, and even if I'm working on something that may be important but not urgent, the idea is, am I doing what I need to be doing right this moment? Of all the different things I could be doing, even many of which need to be done, is what I'm working on right now the most important thing to work on. Now we're here at the BPO industry event, and obviously this is the service sector, and so this is the sector where people are providing professional services. They're offering business-to-business services, and oftentimes they're consumer focused. How important is it, I think, in when we look at companies that are here that are trying to figure out how they can find a competitive advantage? What are the ways that they can either be more efficient or more effective in seizing the moment, in being able to provide, to be the intermediary that does that most efficiently as they're supporting their business clients?
So what's happening right now is the world is changing rapidly in terms of technology, and there's a disruption, whether it's disruption of robotics or AI. When you put those two things together, the whole industry, this industry that we talk about, is about to change dramatically. And the speed at which it will change will be faster than what most people have ever imagined. So continuing to doing what you did yesterday today will not make you successful tomorrow. But the time to react is getting less. And therefore, you have to now increasingly put importance to asking the question, what else should I do? What next should I do? And if you have ideas on it, seize the moment now. And let me explain why this is important. In the past, outsourcing BPO industries were because you had low-cost labor, whether in India or the Philippines and now in Colombia. Today, technology is beginning to be able to replicate many of these things very fast, whether chatbots, whether it's video synthesized of a human being who looks like a human, is really not there, but it looks real. If we don't solve this problem soon, technology will replace labor, and technology may be again insourced back into the United States.
Yes.
So the outsourcing industry has to rethink what it has to do soon, and it should see this not as a threat, though it might feel like that. It should see this as an opportunity, and you should be the first ones to seize the moment.
Now, if I'm a BPO operator, let's say I'm an executive of maybe one of the mid-tier or top-tier BPOs, we all have access to the same technology. We're here, we have all these really innovative technology vendors. A lot of them are now using artificial intelligence. They're using, besides chatbots, they're using like intelligent, now we look at ChatGPT, and there's so many different companies that are innovating with that. We look at different things like DALL-E and even graphics, even we're starting to use to be able to tell a computer, draw me a picture of this or something like that, and they're coming out kind of almost eerily. They call it the uncanny valley, you know, so you know, realistic. But so if I'm an executive and I say, look, you know, we have access to the same technology, we're competing for the same talent. What can I do to differentiate myself? How can I take that the mindset of seizing the moment, and how can I use that to give me a competitive edge over those who are still competing for the same talent, who still have access to the same technology? How might I look at differentiating myself from the competition?
So the first thing is you need to be able to bring differentiated inputs to the conversation. And that input could be that you have much better trained people around the topic. You have additional information that you are able to analyze so that you start eliminating some of those conversations completely. But the real opportunity here is what needs to be commoditized needs to be commoditized.
Yes.
And once it's commoditized, now you ask what can we do in value add? And Colombians, for sure, are now the Latins of North America. The United States is about to become the United States of Latin America. And therefore, where is the talent pool? The Latins in Colombia are equally trained in IT, equally well trained in creating products and services, and no longer need to be only in call centers.
Right.
It's time for centers of excellence of product development, centers of excellence of new types of technologies to be developed over here, and it will still feel low cost for the United States, so it can continue to be outsourced over here.
It's a win-win, you know, and we also see a lot of strategic realignment as entities are shortening their supply chains, whether that's for products or for talent. You look at people trying to bring things rather than crossing the Pacific or crossing the Atlantic to be able to do things closer to home, especially when we look at high-tech areas or then even strategic things. I've seen where Colombians can, you know, fly to the U.S. for a meeting and they're there in 3 hours. It's not like they're, you know, 2 days just in transit one way or anything like that. Now, you're a member of the board of directors of the Global Innovation Management Institute. Help me understand what that body does.
So, the Global Innovation Management Institute is an organization which is creating standards to create a common language and a common framework around innovation.
Okay.
And once, just like English as a language, we can talk to anybody anywhere, and therefore there's a speed and efficiency because of common language. And if there's a common framework on how to do things, then people can innovate faster and quicker, and they can collaborate better across the globe. Our objective is to train 1 million individuals and 1 million organizations so that they have the same language, same frameworks to do this. We've done this in Dubai, we're doing this in Colombia, we're doing this in Brazil, and we would love to be able to do more in terms of how every company can think about what's next, what else, and then build the capability to seize the moment.
Well, so it sounds like you're putting into place frameworks, kind of like management frameworks. When we think about the consulting firms, they have things like MESI and different things like that, or different frameworks that they balance scorecard or things like that. You're bringing that discipline to the practice of innovation itself.
We are. What we are saying is you need to have a growth. You have to understand why you need to innovate, case for change. Then you have to say, where do we want to focus our innovation? Perhaps it's AI and ChatGPT or other stuff. Then we say to them, where's your processes and people to make that happen? And then we ask them, where are your KPIs to make sure that is happening? And in there, are you doing partners? Are you doing this with other people? And how do you go faster, quicker, cheaper, better to be able to do bigger and bolder things?
Okay, now you've been very generous with your time. I want you to be able to enjoy Cartagena some while you're here. Last question for me, your own firm, IXL, tell me what your value proposition is and what's the situation when, who should contact you and in what situations should they contact you?
So anybody who wants to use innovation to grow, get in touch with us. Innovation is hard, it's not easy, but the results of innovation are tremendous. And this is where ChatGPT came to the world. This is where Tesla comes to the world. Those are all original ideas that then can be packaged together to become the next big thing. If you want to work on big and bold things, talk to us.
Exciting. Do you have a website or a LinkedIn or something like that?
Yes, we do. It's www.ixl-center.com.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your time and welcome to Cartagena.
You're going to love Cartagena today. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.